Yep. What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk About It. I'm your host, Swiss Johnson. So grab your substance and get drinks, or stay sober-minded, if you will. And with that being said, let's start the show. But if you're feeling my vibe, like, share, and subscribe. You can catch me on all social media platforms, and that will be located down in the description below. Before we get into this man inside the camera with me, we got the current events that nobody asked for. So, today's story comes from CBS World News, and this is a Belagian priest arrested after a deadly night of sex and drugs with a British Syriac. Mm. Let me correct that. Clergic. Okay, so a British clergyman died after a night of sex and drugs with a Belizean priest who has since been arrested on drug-related charges. The 69, how ironic, 69. The 69-year-old man, who has not been named as of yet, spent the evening with his fellow clergyman, 60, at a clergy house on Thursday in Clonthorpe, north of Antwerp, when he became unwell. Shortly after midnight, the Belizean priest called EMS, and when EMS arrived, they were not able to resuscitate his companion. Them priests out there, I don't know. Sad part. All right. Well, that's your current events that nobody asked for. So up next, we're going to introduce this young man in the camera. You probably have heard his voice a time or two if you're familiar with the kickback. And he was also in the introduction of Let's Talk About It. And he actually is the responsible person for what Let's Talk About It started off as. Ladies and gentlemen, brother, tell us where you're from, what's your name, and a little bit about yourself.
Uh, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for having me on. You already know it's Easy Baby from the Bronx, New York. Uh, right now, just working hard and trying to make that money and make things happen for my family. It's about it. You know what I mean, in a nutshell.
Amen. And for those of you who didn't catch that audio when we were still audio, Easy Baby is responsible behind the scenes for helping me develop and create the show. So let's give him a clap because without him, Let's Talk About It would not exist. As it goes and gears towards its next ventures, mental health, he has gave me the blessing to continue on and carry out the vision. So before we even started, we were just scrambling around seeing where we wanted to go with it. We do have a topic that we're going to dip and dab around. It's going to be in the mental health direction. We're going to be talking about growing up. Growing up pieces as far as like how you grew up, whether it was nurturing, fun, not so pleasant, unfortunate, you fall under the poverty spectrum. We're just going to be talking about certain things. The questions were developed. Shout out to Qora.com and the Facebook focus groups and IG subscription pages for individuals who helped develop these questions so we can have a conversation about them on Let's Talk About It. So we're going to be talking about Let's Growing Up in Mental Health. Before we jump into that, Easy Baby, you're returning and
hmm
now we're on video. What do you think about the show this far as it's taken off?
Um, I'm loving it, man. I definitely, love what you're doing with it. Now going to video, you get to kind of see people and kind of get to get all around information instead of just getting the audio version. So you get a little piece of everything now. So definitely a good one.
Yes. Amen. You know what we forgot? This is twice I'm doing it. I'm gonna get better with that, ladies and gentlemen. We gotta do the pour out, pour up. So who you wanna pour out for or who you wanna pour up for?
Um, you pour out for everybody, man. You know what I'm saying? Everybody need a pour out. You know what I mean? To kind of get that stress off their shoulders so they can, you know what I mean, have a positive day and week or whatever you want to put it as.
Okay, well, and we're pouring out, we're pouring up.
Pour out.
We're gonna pour up. Let's pour up for everybody in the world. How generous are you, easy baby? All right. I see you got your Heineken over there. All right, let's jump into these questions. You ready?
Ready?
I'm excited. Okay. The first question that we got, these are Kiora questions. They're formulated as questions and some as statements. So the first one we have is my parents are responsible for my upbringing, but not for how I turned out. Agree or disagree?
Hmm. I agree.
Okay, let's elaborate.
I mean, I definitely give him the credit for, raising me, giving me the knowledge and, the information for me to take and, kind of open my eyes to kind of see what path I want to take. But as far as, the outcome of how I came, I feel like I put all that together to kind of, get a sense of who I am um as a person, the meaning of me. So
Hmm.
that's how I look at it.
Yeah. Um, when I sit on that question a little bit, I want to say it's a mixture of both. I want to say as a child, my upbringing, the responsibility was on my parents.
Hmm.
As an adult, the responsibility is now on me. However, you will still have some traumas from your childhood that you will have to work on through therapy or, self-care. And how you grew up does impact how you navigate through life as an adult, but you cannot blame your parents after a certain age. After a certain age, you have to take accountability and you have to acknowledge the things that are wrong, and you have to do the best to your ability to correct those errors. So, yeah, you can blame your parents for your upbringing, but I don't feel like you can blame your parents for how you continue to live after a while. All right. The next question we got is I resented my parents for not having things I wanted. Oh, God. Mm.
It feels
Uh,
good to work for everything I got, man. You know what I'm saying? It's a pleasure. So I definitely don't hold no resentment.
um, I want to say, and I'm be apologetic about it, but I have. I did resent my parents. I did resent my parents for not having things that I wanted, and it's because kids could be cruel. And you get teased in school for not having the latest accessories and the latest fashions. And I feel that even in the households, like you didn't have the toys that you wanted, but I will say that I was appreciated over time when I got maturer to understand is that we always had what we needed, even if we
Yeah.
didn't have what we wanted. We still had food on the table, we had clothes on our back. But growing up, yes, I did resent them because I wanted Jordans, I wanted Nikes, and I wanted to be like a person who had a lot. You're a teen,
Yeah.
so
Don't
I
don't
do apologize for that because I didn't know you young.
yeah, don't get it wrong. I'm not gonna say like, I didn't want them things growing up because I grew up poor. Me and my family, we
Mhm.
didn't have it like that. So a lot of things was older brother get the new clothes, it gets passed down. You know how that thing goes, especially in the city.
Yes,
Um, I didn't I didn't resent that because when I started to get older and started to be able to get it for myself and you know, get the true value of, the things I want. Yeah, it was cool. It was like, you know what? I'm glad I didn't get that. I didn't get that spoiled mentality that some people have to where when things go to the dumps, they start panicking. Like I'm not panicking.
right. Right, right. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It's bittersweet because as kids, we don't understand. But when you become a parent, you become empathetic to those challenges because you get the chance to see the other side, and you're like, oh, okay, there's a chance that I have to, even if you can afford it, you still have to, you know, help your children understand that things are not just given. But it
Mhm.
does feel a little, it is sad when it's the difference is you actually can buy it, but you're trying to give a lesson versus you can't buy it at all. So you gotta kind of like soften the blow where, hey, dad or mom, can I get those chips? No, put your hands down. I said no.
Mm.
And the no is because you don't have any money. But then I guess we also got to look on the parent side too. You as a parent, if you weren't able to get your children something that they wanted at the store at the time because you didn't have any money in your pockets,
Mhm.
how do you say no? Like, how does it make you feel emotionally?
Um, I mean, your first rodeo is going to be a little hard because it's like you don't know how to explain that. But my second kid, like I had no problem. Hey, listen, dad broke right now. You know what I mean? I'm working hard. paying the bills, doing this.
Yes.
I don't got it right now. The shoes you got on your feet, the PlayStations, the Xbox, and all the stuff that you want, you got. Now it's a little broke era. You're gonna have to respect that I don't have it right now at the moment. So
Mhm.
I have those conversations with my kids.
Mhm. Now you growing up, if you could look back when your parents, if you wanted something and you felt like you earned it, you deserved it, you did good in school, or you came home on curfew and they said that they couldn't get it for you, how did it make you feel?
You about to have me say something that I ain't want to say, but
Come
listen,
on, we talking about our mental health here. Let's do it.
I didn't mind too much because if my moms and my pops didn't have it, I wouldn't and got it, even if it was hustling, stealing. I don't condone it, but I did what I had to do to get what I had to get. If I couldn't get it from my moms and my pops, and at the time, my moms and my pops were split up, so a lot of times it was if my pops didn't have it, I had to do what I had to do, and then when he passed, and I went back to my mom's, she didn't really have it like that. She wasn't working, so I had to get it.
Mm. All right. Let's jump into the next question they have. This is another one from Kiora. My parents was hard on me, and I didn't feel like it was fair.
Say that again.
My parents was hard on me, and I didn't feel like it was fair.
Hmm.
Mm,
I would say no, because like my pops was hard on me, but I understood it. What I mean, to the
mm.
fullest. My mom's, she wasn't as hard on me. You know what I'm saying? She kind of was more lenient.
Huh. Let me think. Yes. I mean, I grew up in a household of different age groups. I have a lot of siblings. So many on hands I can't count. And yeah, out of all of them, I did feel like not more my mom. My mom was more like a friend, but she had her parenting episodes. My dad, however, was the disciplinary parent, and
Hmm.
I did feel like he was hard on me. I felt like it wasn't fair. A lot of times weren't fair, but I also look at um the parenting and the education that they had back then. They didn't have the educations that they have now and the services that can help you become like a more sufficient parent, even though there's no manual of how to be a good parent. But I feel like the discussions, back then, come on, we millennials and baby boomers are down. It was shut up, listen, because I said so, and it was do this because I said so, and there was no real explanation or learning curve as to why. And he would
Um,
tell me, do good in school,
yeah,
do your chores, go to sleep. No, you can't go out. There was no real explanations of why I can't do it, other
I
than the
think that,
obvious of maybe I'm cutting school or being bad.
yeah. See, that's why I said mine's is different. My pops, he wasn't really the talkative type. So, you know, when he did speak to me, it was more of school, going outside. It was kind of like a specific time. He talked to me about that. Like, he spoke to me like as if I was a young man growing up. Like, hey, listen, streets is rough. You got to know how to defend yourself. You got to know that it's going to be people that's going to be fake, smiling in your face, stabbing you in the back. It's going to be some real ones, but you're going to have to learn how to, you know what I'm saying, see what's real. You're going to have to learn to see between the lines and see who was for you and who's not. So it's them
Hmm.
deep conversations that my pops had with me that it didn't make me question or think. It was like, I get it.
Right,
And then when I seen it for myself, it was like, oh, okay, my pops was right.
right.
I have to be
No.
my pivot. So it was more like he had a more of a elaborate conversation, a real conversation with me. Sometimes it was things that you probably wouldn't explain to a kid. At
Hmm.
that time, I feel it was vital because I didn't have my pops in my teens. So, them talks when I was young stuck with me and it molded me to who I am. And then I just took that
Hmm.
and then, manifested it and made it into who I am today.
Right, like and my dad, like I grew up predominantly with my father, in a single parent house. My mom, she would be present and then sometimes she's absent, it's real. My dad, I'm not gonna discredit his character because he was a great father. It's just that he had a absent father by technicalities because his father died. So he didn't know what it was like to have a father. So he was learning as he went, even though he had a lot of kids.
Yeah.
So, the parent that my older siblings got, was not the parent that we got. And then the parent that we got was not what the younger ones got. But for me, I felt like it was peripheral. Like I was always under the scope. And life lessons, my dad was always just preaching life. Not just because I'm black and I'm a man, but also because of the delinquent behaviors. So I'll put it on me too. Like I wasn't easy to work with. I was bad. But it also to where it's like you said, I'm 10 years old and he's talking to me about having my own apartment and I'm gonna be 18 and then I gotta get my own and like I gotta be doing all this and paying my rent. I'm like, I'm 10. I'm trying to still play in the park, brother. Like what are you doing? So I did feel like a lot of things were not fair, but I think it was coming from the right intentions, the right
Yeah.
space. So shout out to those fathers out there. What is this? Okay. These questions are coming from Facebook, the Facebook focus group. And this is the things I was punished for did not fit what I did.
Mm.
Shout out to them. Shout out to them. Shout out to the dog too.
Hmm. Uh, I don't know about that one.
Yeah. I got beat for everything, so I definitely felt like every punishment was the same. Whether I dropped the remote, bad in school, or me and one of my siblings got into a rivalry, like I felt like all punishments were not fair. It did not fit the bill for what I did. And my father was not a talker. He was a disciplinary. So he would slap us up and send us to the corner somewhere, sit in a room, and we gotta try to figure out ways to figure out if it's still good and if we cool and we'll know that everything is good when he says you go eat. That's his way of saying sorry, like we good. So I'm like, but yeah, I definitely felt like the punishments never fit what I did.
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't really say because when I got in trouble, everything was a beating with my pop. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It was a beating, like, and I understood. I'm gonna be real. I knew what I was getting beat for. Like when I went out there and did what I did, I knew if I get caught, it's coming. Like I knew it. So it's like that's why I said I couldn't really answer it because I knew it was coming. You know what I mean? I did something bad. You know what I mean? I tried to be slick, thinking I can get away, get caught. Got an answer for that. So,
right. All right, now you see the trauma with that though. Like when it comes to mental health, punishment versus discipline. Like if we know it now, a punishment is you're getting a service for something that you did, but there's no lesson behind it. Where a discipline is there's a discipline for it. You are being not punished. The word is just different. Like you're going to be grounded to your room. Eventually, you and your parents are going to have a talk, and they're going to explain to you why. And then there's a lesson behind it. So us growing up, we were punished with no lessons because there was no conversation piece as to why. It's just you. We laughed at it, and you said you knew why. But did you really? You're a teenager. You're doing what's expected of you. But how can we correct it if there was
no,
no conversation?
no. I say I knew because trust me, it was conversation of the do's and the don'ts. Like you have these conversations and you kind of know being around your parents, especially like me, I was around my pops and I kind of knew what he expected. I knew what he wanted out of me. I knew what was right from wrong. So when I pulled some of these stunts, it was because I felt like, you know, I wanted to have a little fun. I wanted to have a little adrenaline. You know what I'm saying? And I knew it was a risk. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But if I can get away with it, the reward is that, you know what I mean? I could do it. You know what I'm saying? I
Right.
could maneuver through, you know what I'm saying, the wolves and get unscathed. You know what I'm saying? So, you know,
Uh,
it's I don't know, like to me, it was a big learning curve because, certain things that I knew I was doing wrong and got beat for when I seen down the line, you know what I mean, and looked and said like, dag, like I see my man do that last week and he didn't make it. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody else
yeah.
caught up to him and did him filthy. And it's like that could have been me. You know what I mean? It was just good that my
Yes.
pops got to me because if he probably wouldn't get to me, I'd have felt invincible. And what you think I would have tried to do? Do it again. Do it
Now
again.
you see, all that sounded like was common sense. You knew the expectation of the do's and the don'ts,
Hmm.
But thinking back as a teenager or as a preteen or kid, your mental capacity cannot tell you as logically why it's not safe. That's the parents' job to give those explanations and give those life examples to where it's like, yes, going down that street and I told you not to, you could have, but on your own, you were able to decipher like why that might have been a danger and like, dang, my pops was right. But there also is a part to where it's your parents is governed to give a more in-depth logical explanation as to the reason why I don't want you to go down that street is because A, B, C, and D. Here's an
But
example of what's going on, and I
but
don't
you
want you
don't
to lose your
but you
life.
don't think they give us that? Because I feel like
I
when we
think that
young,
they gave it to us
when
in
we first
short.
do it, yeah, I feel like when we first do it, they give us the explanation, but we
Hmm.
want to see it for ourselves. Like we be so cocky,
Curiosity.
like, nah, that I
Curiosity.
hear you, ma, I hear you, but let me see, because you know what I'm saying? I'm hearing, and this is the big thing that goes down. Your
Hmm.
parents can tell you, right? Break it down to you. But if your homie down the block that you chilling with been doing this, you know what I'm saying, 2, 3 years, and he haven't got caught the things is funny, you like he telling you like, yo, you need to, you know the rule, you know what it is, but you gonna
Right.
test it out just
Absolutely.
to see because you hearing the fun that's involved in it. You know what I'm saying?
I
So
mean, yeah. I mean, we know the saying: anything that somebody tells you not to do, you want to do it. It makes you want to do it more because you're curious. You want to know why.
yeah, yeah.
Let's get to the next one. Okay. My parents pushed their frustrations on me to do more to be successful because of their failures.
Mm, yeah,
Mm, that's
yeah.
crazy, Facebook.
I say that.
You want to go at it first, or?
Um,
All right, yeah. I don't want to say that they pressured to push their failures. I want to say my father always had the saying of don't try to be me, beat me. Or the other one is don't be the next me, be the first you. That's what he would always say. And when I was younger, I used to always feel like that was like him in my own little way, feeling like, well, I got to do better than him. And he was always preaching school, always preaching having your own, always having your independence. And he was very adamant about he's not going to be here forever. So for him, it was you have to stand on your own too. However, you're gonna do his theory of things. I wouldn't say it was the right way, but it made me a little bit more advanced with my survival skills than my friends. And what he would do was he had this theory of how I like to put it. He doesn't like it. Rest in peace. But you know the birds in the trees and they're in the nest. And when they're born, after a few days, they get thrown out. And if they fly, then they live. But if they fall, it's flat, they're gone.
mhm,
I always felt like my father, because of how he was brought, he would tell us go out there and do this or go do that or figure this out, but he never showed us how to do it. He never showed us how to do it. He'd just say, "Go get a job." Like, well, now you walking down the street, like, well, how do I go get a job? Like, it was no levels, but it was also to where like he would help with homework at times. He'd make us stay up at night to do the homework. And when it came to work and performance, he made sure that we were going. Like I had a job at 11 years old because he did not want me to fail. Now, I would say that's not pressuring their failures. I would say that for me, if I'm looking at my child, I remember what it took. I remember the sacrifices that I'm like taking on for this child. My responsibility is to make sure this child exceeds in life and
mhm,
does way better than what I've done. We come from the poverty spectrum. So for us, we know what it is to starve. We know what it is to be cold. We know what it is to be less fortunate. When our kids come, we don't want that for them. We're trying to shield that from them. However, we also want to give them tough love and have thick skin because the reality of it is we're not going to be here forever. And I think people have a harder time transitioning when whatever the universe is calling them and you know you're scared to go over because you don't know if your kids are doing good. So like for me, no, I don't feel like they were passing their failures. I feel like they were encouraging success.
yeah. Uh, with me, I'm gonna say like with my pops, it kind of like was because everybody said it in the family, like you was just like your dad, like a
Mm,
loose screw, like you smart but you act retarded, you act like you're dumb and slow and do things, and some of the things don't make sense, and they was right because a lot of times I just did things because bored or you know what I mean, just something to do and or just to see what's the reaction. And my pop seen that and he had that same thing that he went through, so he made it his duty to make sure that I did not follow in them footsteps because it was like he knew what come with that, and he was strict on that. He was strict on letting me know. He was even, you know, um open to talk about the things he went through, his past, and certain outcomes that almost could have happened and almost would have happened if he would have made a certain move or said something wrong, and just really broke that down to me because, like I said, like he seemed like I was heading in that wrong direction, and a part of me, growing up, I seen that I was a knucklehead, I had the
mm,
knowledge, like you can talk to me and have a full blown conversation with me, but like that boy's smart. He got a head on his shoulders, but
right.
for some reason, I was just doing dumb stuff, and maybe I think, you know, thinking back, it was a mental thing, a mental illness that, what I'm saying, I have. Um, and it probably didn't take probably to like, going to therapy for anger issues to where I started on noticing myself like, yeah, I got to change this lifestyle if I want to better myself, you know what I mean, for the future.
Mm.
So my pops, yeah, he was on that.
All right. Our next question is, my parent was more of a friend than a parent.
Nah, my pops was a parent. My mom's,
Yeah.
yeah, more of a friend, but my pops was a
Mm.
parent. He played better that.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, for me too, and that's ironic. I feel like moms, like they are, like if they just a single parent mom, they the hammer, but they still cool. Like I know a lot. I know there's some people out there that they don't mess with their mom that way. They might say like, nah, fuck that bitch. But for the most part, everybody at like most majority say Mom Dukes is cool. So shout out to the Mom Dukes out there. Yeah, my father too. My father was not my friend, and he made that clear. He made that clear. But the difference is, see, me and my mother's relationship was always friendly. But she had her moments when she was a mom. But when your parent is a friend, it is a thin line to the respect, because now when they're trying to discipline, you don't take them serious. And I feel like when because my mother was presented more as a friend than a parent to me in most cases, that kind of like damaged our relationship later on. Where my father, he never tried to be a friend, and he made sure that we understood he ain't our friend, and he's here to be our father. So it's like, yeah, you might hate me, shit, I might hate you too, but I love you. At the same time, love hate. So yeah, and I think a lot of people who have one parent as a friend and the other person is a disciplinary, and I think it's like it's more privy when you come from separate households. Like your dad lives over here, your mom lives over there, and it depends on who's the present parent and who's the absent. We're not talking about the people who have people who could collaborate and parent, co-parent, right? But the people who are separate, you got one who, maybe dad showed up years later, or maybe mom, got herself together later, and they're trying to win you over. So they accept the friendship and just going that way with so they don't have the fear of you disrespecting them, or, telling them, well, you wasn't there for me, or any things in that way. So it's two sides of that trauma. So I want to say, when it comes to parents who are being friends, you don't have the respect as the parent who's being a disciplinary, but the parent that's the disciplinary, that territory is the kids have a fear of you. So I don't know if it's respect because they fear you or respect because they love you. I don't know.
I don't know. Mine's is like I get what you're saying on that aspect, but mine's was like I love like I love my mom. You know what I'm saying? I love the friend build, and I respected the friend build. I just feel like in my mom's aspect, she went overboard. She took things a little too far as the friendship role. Wanting to be down with what I'm saying, the crew, and get caught in conversations and then talk about you know what I'm saying, they little dealings. You be like, whoa, mom, chill. Wow, hold on.
Hmm.
It is it's not your time today. You know what I'm saying? Today is just the fellas. You know what I mean? Just the
Hmm.
fellas. Like, and with my pops, like,
Right.
he stuck with me more. You know what I'm saying? As far as that discipline type, like, even though we say like, oh, I ain't your friend. Like, my dad, he was sort of a friend, but he just linked on being a parent first because he wanted to make sure I understood
Right.
and he knew what type
Right.
of knucklehead I was. But we had our moments. Like, basketball was our moment. Basketball was that
Mhm.
moment for us.
Right.
So
Um, I'm still with my father was not my friend. My father did a lot of father things with me. Like and I appreciate that. Like when I was young, I used to be mad because everyone would be jumping down my throat. That's my friends and saying you should be lucky to have your dad. And I'm like, well, you could have him. Like, but I didn't realize that I was actually fortunate to have a father in my life, and I'm very appreciative of that these days. Like he did a hell of a job with the tools he had. Um, okay. The next one is I felt like my siblings got treated better than me. That's a good question, Facebook.
yeah,
Uh
100%. On my mom's side.
uh I'm a little iffy on that. Uh I'll try not to be reticent. I'm not gonna hold back on it. I'm gonna say uh because all right, we live, right? Basically, I do feel like to some degree because in my household, my father unintentionally would pin us against each other. That's one. And then the other part is I did feel like they got treated better. I in their defense these days, I'll play devil's advocate. They had better grades. They had better grades. They listened. They came home. They were good. I mean, they had their ways too, because we siblings, we got secrets, but for the most part, like they didn't really give them no problem. It was me.
Yeah.
But I still didn't feel like, come on, I still didn't feel like that was fair. Like,
Like, don't get it twisted. Young, like when I was young, me and my brother Robert, I say, we were spoiled to an extent in that front. But when I when my dad and came back, it was a whole different ball game. I wasn't baby boy. It was more like you the outcast and coming back in here, you gotta
mm,
earn this title. And even
oh
if you
wow.
earn this title, you know what I mean, you gotta kneel and you know what I'm saying, we the top dogs. And it was always competition or always an argument because, you know what I'm saying, when
Hmm.
somebody feels like you're doing better, it's a situation or they down on you like, oh, he only this because of this. You be like, what? Hold on, bro. What's up? So
Hmm.
yeah, I feel like that originated because of that. You know what I mean? That
Right.
spoiledness. You know what I mean? Mom
I
Dukes
mean,
giving it that.
eh, like, yeah, I'm thinking about it because it ties into the question. Like, I think I did feel that, and then what it caused for me was jealousy. Like I did have some type of jealousy towards my siblings, mainly my sister that is close in age with me. We talked about it the other day, and we could talk about it now because we're older and we passed it, and we know we love each other, like unconditionally love. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's my ace boom boom. But in those times, like yeah, we both felt that. Where she would be feeling like, "Yo, you my brother, I want you to win." Well, I'm feeling like I gotta win and I gotta outdo you because every time I step in a room, like everyone's laughing, having a good time, and here I come, and now the parents want to talk about homework
Mm-hmm.
or trying to talk about what I didn't do correctly,
Yeah.
and just hey, why you can't be like this person? They do this and they do that, and it turned from sibling rivalry to sibling hatred.
Mm-hmm.
And I never hated my siblings. I loved them. The thing is that when you pinned against someone and you seeing them being treated better than you develop some type of envy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but thankful for us, me and my siblings, we've always been close, so we could know how to snap out of that. But I've heard some bittersweet stories, unfortunately, of siblings being treated differently, either because they got a different dad or they were a mistake, and God will protect. But it's we this is mental health. There are kids out there that was birthed through rape, molestation. So the parent doesn't love them like they would love the kid that came natural. So siblings, there I've heard stories of siblings stabbing each other up, trying to take each other out
Mm-hmm.
because the parent is treating the other one differently. I mean, how did that make you feel? Like growing up when your dad was doing things like that, what did it make you feel like emotionally? Did it make you hate your siblings, or did it
No,
make you hate your
no, not
parent?
my pops, not my pops,
Oh, your other parent, your mom. Okay.
my mom's. It was more of, how can I put it? I just felt like when I came back, and it's just my opinion, I didn't wasn't with in that struggle. You know what I mean? As long as they were in that struggle, that me coming back, it made me look like an outsider. And then the knowledge that my pops gave me, that helped me kind of make certain changes in my life to want to do better. It kind of made them think like I was better. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't like that because me. I always, what I'm saying, is that person that you don't have, and I got, you got. Like we good. Like you gonna always, what I'm saying, had
Mhm.
that bond to where it's unbreakable. Like you need it, you got it. I needed it. You know what I'm saying? You got it for me. So when my 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 mother's side looked at me different. It was like it was nothing I couldn't do. If I'm broke, they looking at it as, look, you broke dude, you can't do nothing. That's not who we are. If I get money, oh, you think you better than us, or you think because you was with your pops, and you know what I mean, yada, he did this, he did that. And it's like, bro, like, what are y'all talking about? Like, I don't look at nothing like that. Like, if if I'm getting it, you know what I'm saying, we all getting it. Like, my motivation is for all of us to rise because I don't look at a split, you know what I'm saying, between, oh, because I was with my pops and then came here and look at y'all different. I look at us all the same. We still the same crabs in the barrel trying to climb out the same barrel. Ain't
Mhm.
nothing
Right.
changed. You know what I mean? If anything, if I got information, if I'm sharing it with y'all, ain't that gold? Because if y'all got information that can help me be better, it's gold. And we can just share information to help us all grow. But they took a difference. And I just felt like that was a little bit on my mom's not giving them an understanding of certain things and them growing up thinking whatever. You know what I'm saying? So like
Yeah.
I caught that heavy over there.
Right. I mean, it made. I mean, I guess like that trauma because of like how you were treated, it would make you like isolated. Um, it makes you a disconnect. For me, it makes the traumas that like I carried on would be deflecting. And I've always I'm quick to lash out. I'm very impulsive with reactions
Hmm.
because like I want to achieve things, and I want to outdo people. I want to be sufficient with the things that I do, and it made me in fear of failure. And I'm learning to do things differently now and understanding, being content that like not everything is going to go my way. I can't compare myself to others. What someone else has, that's for them. My blessings come in a different way. But that's hard as a child. As a child, you don't see that. You just see that you're being compared. Someone that you love you're being compared to them, and now it's causing you to resent them and hate. You don't know that your emotions out of whack. But let's move to the other question. Um, I felt like my parents hated me. Who's coming up with these? I mean, I see that they sent them to me, but it's like I let it be anonymous. Like I felt like my parents hated me. Obviously, somebody out there want to talk about this. Okay.
I don't think my parents hated me. I know my pops loved me to death. I know my mom loved me to death. I just feel like, you know, people might feel that just because of, where, you know, if you haven't been with your mother and you've been with your pops, it's going to feel different being around your mother, especially getting into that lifestyle.
Mhm.
So nah, I don't think that.
Um, I want to tiptoe this slowly because I want to choose my words, but I am going to be adamant because I'm not going to be careful but I want the audience to understand what I'm saying when I say that my father and my relationship was not very good growing up, and I did feel like he hated me. I felt like my mother loved me more than my father. Follow me though. I said earlier about my mother being more presentable as a friend and my father being a disciplinary. He was raising me. So my the thoughts of my father hating me was because he was disciplining me and he was always on like down my neck and always talking to me because I'm always in some shit. When my mother on the other hand was doing she was doing damage control where she's nurturing me and telling me, "Oh, you could do that." I don't know why he's making it, so she's stroking my ego because she's my friend. And it gives me that boost of confidence that I wanted. Whereas with my dad, it's everything is just so serious. Everything is just emotionally out of whack, and I can't really express myself. Um, but as I got older, I realized he didn't hate me. It wasn't hate. It was him trying to rescue me and save me from my own self. But I did, yeah. For a long time, I told him at a time before, I was like, I always felt like you hated me. And he was like, it's the opposite. I love you. And I was like, but that's why I always felt like that. He was just trying to be a father, and I didn't want to listen to that stuff. And I think a lot of us go through that. You want to go to the next question, or you have something for that one?
No, I'm good on it.
Um, okay. My parents was an addict, so it affected my upbringing. Ooh, hold on. We want to talk about that. Hmm.
Nah, I'm gonna keep it a
Uh,
bean. I'm gonna keep it a bean. I'm gonna say no to the no because I didn't find out certain things that my pops or my mom's got into until I got older. It was like, yo, you ain't know that. I'm like, what?
hmm
You,
hmm
what? You bugging? They was good at hiding that because I ain't know. So nah, not for me.
Uh, all right. Shout out to the question. Um, I feel like it's too soon to be getting like this on the air. So like, I'll say this. I'll give it a little bit. I mean, everyone has their addictions, and I've seen some stuff. I think we all have in the households and stuff. Of course, people drink, people smoke, do other things. Um, I have seen addictive behaviors, but I want to say that to a degree, some addictions did affect, and it did pass down to where it's like what you see is what you mimic. So I want to say like the addictions did affect, but it
You
also
seen it?
it was corrected too.
But do you
So
seen it? You see it?
have I seen it?
Yeah, like
I mean, yeah, I mean we've all saw it.
no, no. I'm saying because you saying that addiction, with the parents. I'm saying you
Yes.
seen your parents like
Have I seen?
intertwined.
I have. I realistically, I don't know if my siblings could say that, but we all got a different story. I have not seen my parents do anything. To be honest, I've saw the after effect.
That's my thing. What do you mean by you seen the? Because if you didn't see them do it,
Well,
what
I
was
didn't
the
see
after
them
effects?
snorting
Yeah,
or
but
like
what's the after
drinking.
effects that made you assume that that's what that is?
Just behaviors. Even as a
Okay,
child, you can see the difference in your parents' mood. Like for
okay.
me, it was this running gag with me and my sister. We would call them happy. Like, yo, look, they're happy today. because their mood changes to being tough and real assertive to becoming you could do whatever you want. And I know we'll be eating a lot of cereal and probably staying out a little later because we know that they're happy. As I got older, I realized that's substance. That's some type of addiction. Um it's not someone's personality just changing overnight. I just knew they would be going in the bathroom sometime or, just disappearing and being isolated and sleeping a little bit often later in the days. It wasn't until I got older and I started indulging on my own, picking up alcohol and picking up substances till I realized the traits and you can see the behaviors and I'm like, oh, this is what that was.
I ain't gonna lie, you was a detective because I was oblivious to everything until I got older, and when I got older, I started noticing certain things like, hmm,
Hmm.
hmm. And then when they broke it down, I was like, what? Oh, that's crazy. Like, I ain't see
Yeah.
that young, and that's good that
Yeah.
I was able to know at older age. So
The
I
crazy thing is we never really talked about it. Now that I'm looking at it, we never really addressed it. We in our own little ways, kind of gave little lessons on how we felt about it. Like I'm talking about when it came to my parents, they apologized the best way that they knew how, in their own way. It's embarrassing, it's shameful. But I did want to say, that's why I said I didn't want to say too much because it's not my story to tell without the permission. But I guess in a lot of ways than not, the addictions that my parents had did affect me.
yeah.
And I'm not going to say which ones or which ones. I'm gonna just keep it general.
But
Okay, what is this? Okay, I think we coming down. Okay, okay. You should be friends with your parents. I think we kind of answered that earlier. I'm not sure. I don't feel like I should be friends with my parents. Okay, so you understand your parents when you became one. Yes. Yes. I think we touched on that earlier. So whoever had that questions, I hope that when we was talking about it earlier, how it wrapped inside. Okay. I still blame my parents for my mishap. I think that was kind of answer too. My parents my parents are better grandparents than they were a parent. Ooh.
mm,
Okay, shout out. My nah. I want to say I'll leave it. I mean, I think we gave enough info, but my parents were oh, they both was dope in their own way. But like I said, one was one and one was the other. But they definitely was. I felt like what they did for us is the same that they do for their grandchildren, if not more.
well, my pops never got to see my kids, so I really can't answer on that behalf. But as far as my mother, she loved the grandkids, but I just felt like with certain kids, certain one of her kids got the more better end of that.
Mhm.
Like that spoiled, get it whatever they want, and that sorts.
Can you have it now?
So you know, um, I feel like my kids kind of like they don't get what I get as far as being an outcast, but they kind of get it, in a sense.
Okay. And when you say outcast, what do you mean?
I mean, how can I put it in a friendly way? Um, I say like this, like let's say if it comes down to you know another one of my siblings, and they kids, like they'll get the world. Like if my mom's don't got it, she gonna get it. She's gonna make sure she's going all the way out of her way to get it for them. For me and mine's, it's like I'm not saying like they won't get it. Sometimes they don't get it, but she's not going out her way. Like if she don't got it, she don't got it. And she's just gonna say, I don't got it. I mean, it is what it is. So, and then it's like, certain, things moms, do with the other grandkids that she don't do with mines. So it just kind of just make us feel like the outcast.
Mm. Did you guys ever have a discussion about this?
Yeah, no. Like I'm one of them ones that I really don't like confrontation, right? And I love my moms to death, so I really don't want to really just be hammering at her about certain things. You know what I'm saying? Because I keep it real. I'm not one to really handle emotions 100%, or one to be able to have that conversation and you really understand what I'm saying. Because after a while, I start getting mad. I start talking gibberish. I don't know what to say. So now I'm just mad. So whatever comes out, whatever it is what it is. You know what I mean? And I will never want that for my moms. You know what I'm saying? So, I've had little conversations, you know what I'm saying, to kind of like see why, but you never get the full answer. It's always, um, answer partial, and then it's like, oh, why you feel like that? And then when I tell them why I feel like that, it's like, oh no, it's not like that. Don't think like that. And I just leave it like that because I know what it is. I know the real. You know what I'm saying? It's not hard to read the room. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you see it so many times, it's not hard to know what it truly is. And I'm not gonna beat somebody in the head, especially like my mom's. Like I said, I love her to death. You know what I mean? Regardless of what it is, she birthed me. She made me who I am. You know what I'm saying? As far as gave me, the information and things that she's been through, so I can have. We've had.
Absolutely. Okay, let's see the question over here. Okay. Things I do better than my parents. Good question. Hmm.
Mm,
Things I do better than. Okay. Um. I know how to have hard conversations with the younger kinfolk. Like we said earlier, when it comes to discipline, I discipline. I don't. We know how to have conversations and explain why things are the way they are. Just acknowledgement. I know how to acknowledge. I know how to be apologetic. I know how to be vulnerable. There's a few others. It's not coming to my head right now. How
um,
about you? The question was the
no, no,
things that I do better than my
I do
parents.
better. I don't know. I'm just gonna let that one just rock because I feel like I don't want to feel like I'm down on my parents. You know what I'm saying? At
Yes.
the end of the day, they did, the best that they could do. You know what I'm saying for me. And like I said, if I am doing it better, it's because they gave me that knowledge for me to do it
Mm.
better. So I just
Yeah,
feel
and that's just you know what? Oh, I think that question, things that I do better, like I think the wording should have been different to the things that I do different than my
yeah,
parents.
yeah.
Like not better, but different. Okay. My parents could have done more than they did, but they did the best that they could.
I don't agree with that because it's like, what do you feel like they could have did more of? Because we don't know for a fact of that. They could have did the best that they, what I'm saying, could have. This is the result that it is, so I can't say that.
Yeah, yeah. I just feel like they did the best that they could.
Yeah,
But I don't know what the best is because I'm
it's not
pretty
like
sure there's, yeah, yeah. I'm gonna think about that, and if I can later in another episode, I'll probably answer that. The last one we have is I would treat my kids nothing like my parents treated me. You just shaking your head.
that's like
We
I'm
agree with
all
this?
right. I'm not gonna say my pops. My pops. I love the way he raised me. Like it was. I got beatings. You know what I'm saying. I really didn't get punishment like that. Being in the house, I really didn't get that. I got that raw. Come on, let me get that wet belt. We're gonna attach that behind you, and then I'm gonna let you know what you did wrong, and the next time you do it again, what's gonna happen again. So
Mm,
I love that. You know what I'm saying? Because it taught me so much, and it kind of got me out of that dumbness that, that side of me that just wanted to be reckless, that just wanted to act like life is just about fun and just doing dumb things. So I'm kind
Mm-hmm.
of glad, like he put that pounding, and I'm able to instill that you know and even more with more knowledge, since what I'm saying, he didn't did that to me so many times. I have knowledge to where I can lay down the law, but also give a good definition of why this is happening, to where now I don't have to beat my kids. I can just have that conversation with them, like, yo, you already know, or give them that look, like, and they already know off top, like, oh, I already know, all right, let me shape it up.
Yeah, that goddamn look. That's generation. Come on, everyone has a look. My father didn't have a look. He had a gesture. Like my siblings, if they cusses, they know. Like my father would act like he not about to do something. Like if we acting up too much, like he would be like looking on this side of stuff and pow, like boom.
But nah, my pops had,
Like
like, he could be dead in the conversation. You act it up, yo, it'd be like a dead silence. Like, he'll stop talking, give you that look, and that look so sharp, bro. It'd feel like that was the butt whooping right there, because it was like,
I seen one of my friends moms, like we would be in there like this bullshit, and like yeah, she had a look like it. I can't demonstrate it, but um like her like body language, she would do something like this. She put her head down. She'd be like, "Y'all gonna make me lose my mind."
But you notice,
Now I'm not no. I'm joining in the soul like up in here. Yeah, I go. They like yo.
yeah, but you notice that look is only when you're outside. Like, I don't get the look when I'm inside. Like, the look is only when you outside amongst either at the park, mall with your parent, your pops or your parent, or you like at somebody's house. That's when
Okay,
that look come in, because that look is like, yo, the next move you make, best believe, is about to be on and popping. Like,
you know
that look
what?
is serious.
I think every like we'll put that in a poll. Like, does every parent have a look when you're in trouble? Um, I don't know. I'll be trying to practice my look, but I don't think if I have a daughter, I don't think she's gonna take me serious.
Nah,
Because I'll
my
probably
look
try to
is
say,
nah. My look is real. Like, it's
"Give
to the
us the
point
look.
where it's to the point
Give
where
us your look right
I
now.
can
Give
call
us
my
the."
daughter. Nah, I'm gonna tell you, I can call my daughter. I'm like,
Mhm.
Pootie, what's my look? And she'll do the whole pose, like that look, and
That's the look.
nah, it's a little more detailed, but you know what I'm
I want
saying.
to
Like,
see. We want to see the look. Give
yeah,
us the look.
it's hard to really give it without
So
what
you
I'm
can't just
saying.
speak about something one of your kids did that really pissed you off
Nah,
and give the
cause she,
look right now.
nah, because
It
that's
only works in a moment. Like,
yeah, it's like that moment, that joint just, and it's
mm,
quiet. It's like my
I don't
kid
think I
can.
mastered the look yet. Then, like,
Now you
Good
have,
luck.
once you have a kid, bro, that comes with the package. You
I've
know
heard,
that comes.
that look.
I
It's
feel like the look really comes with the package with the fathers, because moms is more like, they snooping, they yelling, they dads ain't trying to yell. You know what I'm saying? Especially
Mhm.
like outside, he ain't trying to yell. That's embarrassing.
Okay.
Embarrassing. We're gonna give you that look, and if you don't know what that look is, you're gonna know what that look is when you get in the car or home. That look is
Ah,
familiar.
wow. Well, there you go. All parents have a look. Um, in closing for it, growing up with mental health, growing up in mental health, that's what we call it. I want to just say, like, there's no right or wrong way. That there's no blueprint to it. Parents who are active, they just want to be there for you. They try to do the best that they can. As an adult, when you reflect on how you grew up, you have to do the best that you can to make sure that you channel and you check your emotions, and don't blame your parents too much for your mishaps. And understand the mistakes that they made, learn from them, and become a better version of you, so that you can be a better parent for your kids and teach them the things that you felt like your parents should have taught you. Show them the emotions that you felt that your parents should have gave you in those times that they didn't. An example would be if you fell on the floor and you were crying and you felt like your father didn't come and rescue you and tend to you the way that you wanted him to. Do that when it comes to kids, and when they fall, how are you going to be there for them? So all of those aspects of it, what just do the difference of what your parents didn't do. What you got for the people out there?
All I can say is just, take everything as a learning curve, from your parents to even, looking outside and seeing other parents, you know what I'm saying, and how they operate with their kids. Don't be judgmental. Just take certain things and learn from it. You know what I mean? Adjust with it. Kind of, see what works with you or what doesn't work with you and, put it to use. You know what I mean? And
Mm.
don't ever be one of them people that just say, "Oh, I'm not going to be like that." Like, don't be judgmental, bro. It's not worth it. If somebody got a different tactic on how they raise their kid, just respect it. You know what I mean? And that's how I go on. If I can give somebody advice that want it, I'm gonna give it. But if they don't want it, I'm not gonna force nothing. You know what I'm saying, on them that's gonna make them feel like they less of a parent. And I
Amen.
think that's where a lot of people fall at, is when they feel like they less of a parent, or somebody makes them feel less of a parent. They start spiraling out of control. They start, you know, losing what's um the real key picture in life, which is raising them to what you want them to be. You know what I mean? As far as like with me, I raise my kids to how I feel the Heavenly Father wants us to be. Like, I want my kids to love the Heavenly Father. I want my kids to know love. I want my kids to know peace. I want my kids to know, positive energy, to where they're giving back into the world and they're not trying to be selfish or look down at people as if they're better. So those are my things and key tips that I give myself to trying to be a better parent. And, just learning from others and what they do to kind of see if that matches mine's. And like I said, I'm growing just like y'all.
There you have
That's
it,
my
ladies and gentlemen.
little piece to the world.
Amen. Um, this was a all the episodes that's like have been coming out, and the content has been a little bit more deeper and more serious. We definitely showed some vulnerability on this episode. There's a lot of people out there, I'm sure they could resonate with us. This was not to bash anyone or out anyone or discredit any parents, anybody's. This is our story. I hope that what we set up here didn't offend anyone. And I hope that if anyone sees this that's like close to us and like loved ones of ours, if you were mentioned or you feel like you were indicated in any way, I hope that opens up a space for us to have conversation. So let's get better at that. Let's educate each other. Let's counsel each other, not cancel. With that being said, that concludes another episode of Let's Talk About It. I will leave all the handles down in the description below. With that being said, I'll miss ya. Peace.